Eerily haunting true stories about remote abandoned locations rich in history. Come with us, now travels from state to state, if you dare.
Be the last time anybody sees us alive. I don't know where she has us, but we're gonna fucking kill.
Hello?
Gina, there is a beehive over there. Do you see that in the hole?
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, good afternoon.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks
Good.
for having me here.
Oh,
No,
sure.
I'm
Here we go. Back again. She's a guest on my podcast. Well, you usually pull that at the end. You don't do that in the beginning. Usually it's like, thank you so much. Like I was a guest.
Do it with you, yeah.
Yeah, like I was a guest and you just
you.
spent the last hour interviewing me.
I don't know, because right before we always start these, we always have conversations, we're laughing, giggling, and then all of a sudden we have to get really serious. That's kind of why I liked a few episodes back when we did Shoot the Shit with Gina and Shannon, because then we can just act natural.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes we come on and it's like, hi, welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Because if you know us in like real life.
Yeah, we're really not that formal.
No.
So it's really hard to like get into like this mindset of being like really like, you know, hey, we need to be serious. And the topics, yes, we discuss are very serious and we take it very seriously.
We do.
But it's just, you know, our personalities just, we're really
But I'm going to say
lighthearted.
a lot of times people use humor to deal with trauma.
I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I do that with pain, with, it just, when I am in pain, I laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just,
Yeah. When my dad was passing away, my mom and I spent the night at the hospital with him, and we were playing a game of Uno, and we dealt my dad in. And
that's so cute.
my dad was obviously comatose at this time. And so we dealt him in, and we were cracking jokes with him. And I'm sure the staff probably thought we were insane. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how my family deals with things too.
But that's a happy memory. You know,
It
like
is.
that's fun to think back on.
Absolutely is, you know. But a lot of people don't believe in that stuff and cracking jokes. And to me, that's just makes things a little easier to deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
So if we ever do that on this podcast, please don't take it seriously. You know, because sometimes some of my remarks do slip on here, and you know,
our sense of humor is a little
so
it might not be too flattering for all people.
So please don't so don't take it personal. So today we are talking about Bonny Lee Bakley.
Yes.
She is very interesting. I will start this out by saying she was married 10 times.
Wow. Did that beat Elizabeth Taylor's record?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what her record is, but I don't know. Google that, but I think Elizabeth's got her beat.
I don't know. I thought she had like 7 or 8.
Oh, maybe.
Elizabeth.
But yeah, she was married 10 times. Some were annulled. But she was just kind of known for getting into relationships to use men for their money and what she could gain, what she could get out of a relationship.
Well, she was in the right city for that, Hollywood.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if she was actually ever really in love with anybody, or she was just out to, you know, gain something. So,
well, Elizabeth Taylor 8 times.
Oh, okay.
So Bonnie did have her beat. I do think too that a lot of people change, and a lot of people, they like that feeling of first meeting somebody, the dates, the first meeting
10 times.
I know, but I'm wondering, like, you know,
thanks.
Just not, you know, like, hey, we'll be married as long as it's fun and it lasted. Then, you know, move on to the next, I guess.
Yeah, and
does
as
she have
we'll
any children?
Learn, she does.
Okay.
So, and as we'll learn, you know, her relationships are very different than there's no such thing. I don't feel there's a such thing as a normal relationship.
No,
but back in, like, you know,
traditional, maybe
a traditional marriage, I think that she just lived her life differently. Yeah. She lived on the edge, and she was just out to get whatever she could get from whoever she could get it from. And that was just how her life was. So, so she lived a very interesting life. So she was born on June 7th, 1956 in Morristown, New Jersey. Bonnie had a brother and a sister, and then a half-brother from her mother's second marriage. She was raised by and lived with her grandmother. When Bonnie was 16 years old, she decided to drop out of high school and go to New York City to pursue acting and modeling at Barbizon School of Modeling.
I think my nieces went through Barbizon too.
It's so funny when I read that. I was like, oh my God, that was like...
They still,
so
I think they still
like,
have Barbizon.
Oh, but how funny is it that we've done 2 episodes back to back now with
models in New York?
Yeah, but like they just leave at such a young age.
I know. I'm really surprised about that.
Like wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she 16
left. Years old.
Yeah. Left at 16. So while she was there, she met a man named Evangelos Polakis who needed to get married in order to stay in the United States. She agreed to marry him for a price, but then quickly ended the marriage and the man was deported.
But she got the money.
She got what she needed. Again, just
wow,
out to, get what she needs, and then she's done and she moves on to the next, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah. So when Bonnie was 21 years old, she married her first cousin, Paul Garon. I mean, come on, Bonnie. Okay. Why are we doing this?
Did he need
no
immigration status?
No.
I mean, what would be the reason?
So they got married and they had 2 children together, Glenn and Holly.
This is the one she decided to have kids with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not the only one, but yes.
I'm saying,
yes. So these were her first 2 children.
Let Evangelos go to the wayside, but let me marry my cousin Paul and have kids.
Yeah. I don't understand it. Like,
okay.
But yes. So that's what it is. So they had 2 children, Glenn and Holly. Then after 5 years together, they divorced. Bonnie would end up being married a total of 10 times. Bonnie was struggling financially, so she started a mail order business that focused on taking money from lonely men. She started mailing nude photographs of different women to male clients for a fee.
The first OnlyFans.
Right?
You go, Bonnie.
Yeah, Bonnie Lee Bakley. So she later started an agency called Lonely Hearts. So she would advertise for a male companion. She also, after communicating with men who answered these ads, she would ask them for rent money or for travel expenses.
You know what, though? If you look at this, like, she's the, dating apps. She was the dating app. She was the OnlyFans page. I mean, Bonnie was a fast forward thinker,
Mm-hmm. And she made a lot of money, and she became the owner of several properties.
Oh, awesome.
So her business furthered when she started to advertise in well-known pornographic magazines. She also involved herself in drug peddling and supplied various illegal drugs to her clients as complimentary service.
Well, I'm sure if they're
complimentary service,
I'm sure I'm sure too, when you're high, you're spending more money.
Of course.
I mean,
it's all working in her favor. It's all working in her favor. So, some of her clients were Robert De Niro, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Jimmy Swaggart.
Yeah.
Remember Jimmy Swaggart? He was a pastor.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. So she continued to pursue a Hollywood career as a singer and an actor under the stage name Lee Bakley, but was unsuccessful. Because of the nature of her business and other dealings, Bonnie was arrested multiple times. In 1989, she was arrested in Memphis for drug possession and fined $300. In 1995, she was arrested for attempting to pass 2 bad checks from an account of a Memphis record company. Bonnie was fined $1,000 and sentenced to work on a prison farm on weekends after she plea bargained down to lesser charges. In 1998, she was arrested in Little Rock, Arkansas for possessing 5 driver's license, 7 social security cards with different names.
She was a scam artist. I'm really surprised. Like, we're going to hear some of the men she married, like rich men.
That's what she was after. They needed to have money, or she wasn't interested. That's what she needed, and she needed it quick and fast and in and out. Yeah, get the job done.
You know, but it's funny because it's like, you think they'd avoid somebody like that, you know, who's scamming people, but it's like, wow.
No, they probably look at it like, okay, I don't have to worry about having a relationship with her.
I guess, yeah.
You know? So she was using these IDs to open various P.O. boxes in order to run her Lonely Hearts scam.
Wow.
So she needed, you know, the names and the information. Bonnie had always been obsessed with celebrities and pursued them often. She was determined to marry someone famous. She once said, being around celebrities, it makes you feel better than other people.
She had goals. Yeah. I mean, she lived and I'm going to put this out there, a crazy wild life. She didn't deserve what she got and how she died, but you know, it's just crazy.
I mean, you put yourself out there like that, you just, you know,
the people you attract.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So in 1990, she began to pursue singer Jerry Lee Lewis. She eventually met him and even became close friends with his sister Linda. In 1993, Bonnie gave birth to a little girl who she named Jerry Lee. She claimed that Jerry Lee Lewis was the little girl's father. However, after DNA testing, her claims were disproved. Bonnie then relocated to California and left the little girl with her ex-husband, but continued to financially support her.
And which ex-husband is this? Or
yeah, it doesn't say, but
and
I'm assuming
he continued to support her.
It's the ex. It's the cousin, the first cousin. But I'm like, so you find out that that's not his kid, and so you just kick the kid to the curb. Like, go stay with this dude. Like, I mean, was obviously Jerry Lee Lewis wasn't the father, so maybe the ex-husband was the father, and so now go live with your dad.
Yeah.
So she had also became interested in Christian Brando, the eldest son of Marlon Brando. Christian was serving a 10-year prison sentence for the murder of his half-sister's boyfriend.
Wow.
During Christian's time in prison, Bonnie began writing him letters and sending him photos. After his 1996 release, the two began a romantic relationship. In 1999, Bonnie discovered she was pregnant and initially thought that Christian was the father. In June 2000, she gave birth to her fourth child, a daughter she named Christian Shannon Brando. During this time, she was dating Christian Brando. She also started dating a man named Robert Blake, who she met at a jazz club in 1999. He was a famous film and television actor, best known for playing in the 1970s show Beretta. After the birth of her daughter Christian, she told Robert Blake that she was unsure of the child's paternity and he might be the father. Robert Blake insisted on a paternity test, and it was determined that he was the little girl's father and not Christian Brando. Bonnie then legally changed the little girl's name from Christian Shannon Brando to Rose Lenore Sophia Blake. Robert agreed to marry Bonnie under the condition that she signed a temporary custody agreement. Bonnie agreed to monitored visits with Rose and to get written permission for her friends and family to visit Robert's property. The agreement also stated that if either spouse decided to end the marriage, the other spouse would retain custody of Rose. Bonnie's attorney advised her not to do this because it seemed lopsided, but being eager to marry Robert, she said she went against her attorney's advice and signed the agreement on October 4th, 2000. The two were married in November of 2000. Although the couple was married, they never lived together. Bonnie and Rose lived in a small guest house next to Robert's residence in Studio City, California. Robert never trusted Bonnie, and the marriage was rocky. Robert hired a private investigator and would later find out that Bonnie continued to operate her Lonely Hearts scam during their marriage.
On May 4th, 2001, Robert took Bonnie to dinner at Vitello's restaurant in Studio City, a place where he was a regular customer.
Have you been there before?
No, I haven't actually. And like I said, I went to North Hollywood High School my junior year. Parents have lived in that area. But I've never been to that restaurant. Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Italian food, though. There would never be any reason for me to go there. So.
And that's so funny because you're Italian.
Yeah.
I know.
Horrible Italian at that.
She doesn't like cheese. There's a lot of things Gina doesn't like.
Pasta. Yeah. None of it.
No, thank you. According to Robert, while walking out of the restaurant, he realized that he left his revolver. that he always carried with him at the restaurant and went back to get it. And I'm surprised at this because California doesn't have, do we have a concealed weapons? Like, can we walk around and carry a concealed weapon? Like, any weapon. I don't think we can walk around and carry any weapon here in California. Okay. Yep. I just, by the way, honey, I forgot my revolver. I'd be like, it's okay. I'm going to Uber.
I forgot my shotgun at the table.
I'm going to walk home. Oh my gosh. When he came back to the car, he found Bonnie lying in a pool of blood after being shot in the head. He ran to a nearby resident's house and was banging on the door asking for help. The resident was the one who called 911. The resident said in a later interview that there was a massive amount of blood everywhere. A busboy from Vitello's also told police that he cleared the table that the two were sitting at before Blake returned and didn't find a gun. 10 days after the shooting, police found a gun in a trash bin a block and a half away from the scene. The pistol was described as a collector's item and contained a bullet that matched the two used to kill Bonnie. However, the serial number had been filed off, so the gun's ownership could not be traced. On April 18, 2002, LAPD announced that detectives had arrested Robert for the murder. Detectives said to have examined over 900 items of evidence. 900 items. Wow.
A lot.
I know. Linking Robert to the murder and had also interviewed more than 150 people.
I don't even know 150 people. Imagine,
if something happened to me, they're going to be interviewing Gina,
2 people,
Kim, and my husband, and maybe my kids, but that's it. Like,
I know. It's 150 people.
I know. Leading to compelling and conclusive evidence that Robert was responsible. In addition to the murder charge, he faced 2 counts of solicitation for murder. Prosecutors said that Robert had tried to hire hitmen to murder Bonnie before eventually committing the crime himself. What balls he has.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna stay quiet on this one so I don't get accused of being a Robert Blake supporter.
Yeah, no. We don't need any more of those.
Yeah.
Robert did not take the stand in his trial and maintained his innocence. Well, also, I mean, we all can have opinions on things. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it's like, feel free.
But I can't.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. So,
I just think playing devil's advocate sometimes, just to get see the other side.
I think more investigators need to play devil's advocate sometimes.
Just to see the other side, see both sides of things.
So you're not so focused on one person, because there's been so many times that people, you're just focused on the one person. So 2 stuntmen testified at the trial that Robert tried to hire them to kill Bonnie. However, the defense attacked the testimony as not credible due to their histories of heavy drug use. A small number of particles of gunshot residue were found on his hands. However, a defense expert testified that he would have had nearly 100 particles on his hands had he fired the gun, not the 4 or 5 that the defense and prosecutors claim. Yeah, you know me. I always ask questions even though I don't have answers. But if he was wearing gloves, could he still get particles on it by pulling the gloves off his hands?
Yeah.
Or by tossing the gun? So, I mean, there could be ways to go around that. On March 16, 2005, the jury voted 11-1 in favor of acquittal on the murder charge and also voted to acquit him on 1 charge of solicitation. They deadlocked on the second solicitation charge, which the judge dismissed. The jury foreman told reporters that prosecutors couldn't put the gun in his hand and they could never connect all the links in the chain. Robert Blake's defense attorneys argued that Christian Brando could have been the killer. Wow. I mean, they threw his name out here.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the paternity test, or that he could have played a role in her murder, but the evidence is sparse. In August 2002, while Robert Blake was in jail awaiting trial, his defense lawyer released a phone call from 2000 between Christian and Bonnie. Christian angrily warned her during the conversation about her lifestyle, saying, "You're lucky somebody ain't out there to put a bullet in your head." Christian Brando was never formally charged with the murder and was not even in Los Angeles when it occurred, but he could have hired somebody.
Correct.
Robert claimed a friend of Christian's could have committed the crime to gain favor with him. Why are you putting down my thoughts before I even say them? Robert Blake's defense attorney said in 2021 that he believes that this is what actually happened. Christian Brando died in 2008. On November 18, 2005, Robert Blake was found liable for the wrongful death of Bonny Lee Bakley in a civil trial. Bonnie's 3 eldest children had sued him, claiming that he was responsible for their mother's death. The jury ordered Robert Blake to pay $30 million. In 2006, Robert filed for bankruptcy with debts of $3 million for unpaid legal fees as well as state and federal taxes. On April 26, 2008, an appeals court upheld the civil case verdict but cut his penalty assessment in half to $15 million. On April 9, 2010, the state of California filed a tax lien against Robert for over $1 million in unpaid back taxes. This man was owing a lot of money.
I have to say too, like, here's another case where they're found guilty in a civil case, and
you have
it's less evidence.
I
understand all that.
You can
but
do it just on like suspicion, right? Or on,
you don't have to have any like hardcore evidence or anything like that. But I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Because all I have to do is pay money and then that's it.
Yeah,
and then I'm off the hook.
I'm wondering if they.
I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like what the purpose is besides people getting money.
Because in the criminal case, they all have to agree, right? So if one person holds out,
right,
it becomes
and you have to, again, we go to the beyond a reasonable doubt and the whole blah blah blah, the whole shit and shebang. But I just don't understand the reasoning behind this.
Yeah,
except for money. And the majority of the time, the people that are being sued don't even have the fucking money.
Yeah.
So what is this? This isn't even going to get you a payday.
Yeah. It's just say, look, yeah, this person did it.
Okay,
I
cool.
guess maybe.
Now what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't understand it. Because look, now he just filed bankruptcy.
Yeah. I was going to ask that. Like, if you file bankruptcy, are you not obligated to pay a civil suit that's against you?
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like
that's like saying I'm gonna file bankruptcy on child support.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention any names, but
yeah,
we'll just say I knew somebody that tried to do that.
You can't do that.
No.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
I don't.
you can.
That's just not a way out of things. Like,
yeah.
But maybe there's like a certain chapter of bankruptcy that you can that will.
Well, maybe
cover that. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. It just none of that shit makes sense to me at all.
Yeah. And you make that much money, you're not even allowed to file bankruptcy on getting it completely wiped away.
And you were fine until this, so
yeah,
give up your money, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. In September 2019, Robert started a YouTube channel titled Robert Blake, I Ain't Dead Yet, so stay tuned, on which he discussed his life and career. Later in October 2019, Robert's daughter Rose Lenore opened up about her childhood and how the trial affected her. She discussed reuniting with her father, visiting her mother's grave, and her own desire to get into acting. Regarding knowing the truth about her mother's murder and whether Robert did it, she declined to know the details but is open to knowing the truth, if it's ever an option. In 2021, Robert opened up a website, Robert Blake's Pushcart, where he sold scripts, memorabilia, and he had like a bookstore where they can read and order books. Quentin Tarantino's novel, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is based on his film of the same name, is dedicated to Robert Blake. Notably, Robert Blake's later life dealing with his wife's murder mirrors Brad Pitt's character Cliff Booth, who is also accused of murdering his wife. On March 9, 2023, Robert Blake died from heart disease in Los Angeles at the age of 89.
He lived a long life.
He did. And
I had no idea about the movie, though.
Oh, the Once Upon a Time in... Did you see that movie?
Mm-mm. Come on.
Oh, you don't see movies.
But no.
I love that movie. My sister-in-law hated it. I loved it.
Maybe if I knew what it was based on, I probably would have watched it.
Well, it's also, it's got Sharon Tate in there.
I didn't know that.
And talks about Sharon Tate and
Well, I hope she's not in it.
well, no, it has like an alternative. I just love it because it's an alternative ending to what could have happened that you wish would have happened. And you have to watch it. To me, it's like this fantasy of it intertwines that story in with, Brad Pitt's character who's, accused of murdering his wife. And
maybe I'll have to watch it.
You have to watch it. It's such a good movie.
Yes. And I'm sure everybody at home is probably cursing me up one side and down the other. But if we haven't said it, if you haven't heard us say it on here before, I am not a movie watcher. I'm a bookworm. I read books, but I do not watch movies except for Lifetime movies.
Oh, it has a novel, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Why don't you read it? It's probably better than the movie.
Yeah, I always find books to be way better than the movie, but since I'm in a book club and I'm busy reading right now.
Watch it tonight. After I leave here, that's your homework.
Shout out Helen Pfeiffer.
Whoop, whoop. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, maybe I'll watch the movie then.
Yeah, it's really good. I liked it. Do you tell me what you think? My sister-in-law hated it.
I've actually, now that you say that, I have known a lot of people who have watched it, and I feel like what I have heard is either they love it or they hate it.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it. So, but thank you for joining us this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about my voice. It keeps going in and out.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And I'm heading on vacation, and I don't want to be sick. Oh, by the time you see this, though, I will be back. And boy, will I have stories.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, she's going to be out on a boat in the dark, deep ocean.
Love it. Love it. It's so quiet. It's so peaceful.
My worst nightmare.
I'm lying.
Seasick. Oh, God.
No, it's so big.
Makes me nauseous, literally, just thinking about being on a... I can't... I cannot imagine being on a boat that I can't get off of. The feeling of being seasick is nothing. It's not like having the flu. It's not like it is a whole different monster on its own. And to feel like that and not be able to get off, I would probably just jump overboard.
No. I don't get seasick.
It's
the boat is so big. You feel like you're in a
says.
Tiny city. Like you don't even realize you're on a boat.
How do you lay down at night in the bed and you're not like, ooh, like on a waterbed?
It doesn't move like that. It just, I don't know. I don't feel it. I'm up high. I always try to get like the higher level. I don't try to get the one that's really low. I try to get like a floor that's, 8 or higher.
8 stories?
Yeah, they go up to 11. Yeah.
On a boat?
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, no. No. Oh, my God. I had no idea.
Yeah. It is amazing. It is so much. I didn't think I could do it either.
I need to rewatch The Love Boat.
Maybe you need to come on the
the
weekend one.
No, I'm not. No, I don't. Shannon, I don't want to be on there for 5 minutes, let alone 2 days. Are you kidding me? I would have. There's not enough Lexapro in this world.
There might be enough Xanax, though.
Yeah, there probably is. It's called overdose because you would have to knock me completely out. No.
Really?
Being seasick, unless you have been seasick.
I've been seasick.
Or car sick.
Yeah.
It's such
I get car sick a lot.
Disgusting feeling. It's not like having the flu. Like it's such a different feeling. It's so gross.
I do get car sick. I can't read while I'm in the car. I will get the headache, the dizzy, the nausea. It takes a while for it to go away. But for some reason, and I've gotten seasick because I gotten seasick on the barf barge on your way to Catalina, the slow boat.
Oh God.
But that's a different boat. They're smaller. But I've also been boating. We used to have a boat. And I never got seasick on those.
I was on a boat my entire life growing up.
You never got seasick?
On a lake.
Did you get seasick?
Never. You don't get seasick on a lake.
Oh, yeah, you could.
It's different than the ocean. It's way different.
Is it?
The ocean's way different. Yeah.
I just don't get seasick on that boat, on the cruise ships.
Well, that's good.
And there's Dramamine.
That would probably just knock me out. And then what's the sense of being out there? The deep water is just a
fear,
a hard no for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel like we're close enough to the
what?
to
You're
the
gonna swim?
shore. Well, because you're only going up the coast. Well, no, I mean,
Yeah. So how far does it matter? If you can't swim there, what the hell good is it gonna do?
they'll get to you before
Before you drowned?
Yeah,
Before you're sucked
before-
under by
before
the Bermuda
suction-
Triangle? You have like 10 seconds before you're gone.
No, you have it took
In
how
that
long-
big water before Jaws comes and swallows you?
The Titanic. How long did
man.
it take the Titanic to sink? Like hours. It's just they were in the middle of nowhere. Nobody can get to them, but we're along the shore.
Okay.
So
You keep thinking that.
helicopters. So we got helicopters now. Coast Guard. I mean, we're good. We're good.
Okay, well,
I'll send you photos.
please don't.
Well, on that note,
Have
a good
we'll be
week.
back next
Yes.
week if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're at 50 States of Madness. And thank you. Shout out to our Patreons.
yes.
You can support us on Patreon if you like at patreon.com/50 States of Madness.
Absolutely.
And
if I'm not here after my vacation, it's because I was sucked in by the Bermuda Triangle. And I'm sorry. I'm not even on that part of the world, but for some reason, somehow it just took me.
or Jaws took her.
Or Jaws.
Or Moby Dick.
Or Big Iceberg.
You know, I've studied way too much of the ocean to know the things that live under there. I'm serious.
You cannot scare me before I go. Why are you trying to put the fear of God?
I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to save your life.
send somebody out there to follow my ship with the helicopter. There you go.
I don't know. We'll see, guys. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Shannon returns in 2 weeks or not. Hopefully, maybe she'll post on Instagram and let all of our listeners know that she's okay.
I'm doing
and
okay.
alive and kicking.
I'm gonna try not to buy the Wi-Fi. Trying to disconnect, but we'll see.
Oh, wow. So, like, I'm not going to know if you survived for 2 whole weeks.
I'll when I get internet service at the ports, I'll send you a picture saying, I'm
Okay.
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 Or-
All right. Deal. And then
Okay.
I'll share it
Yes,
on Instagram.
please. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, have a good week, you guys.
All right. We'll
I'll
see you next
later.
week. Bye.
Bye.